we delve in that we have this afternoon, mental health at the workplace. And as I usher in Daktari, I want to start by saying that mental health is very, very important, just as any other health is important. Just as the way we take care of our physical well-being, we think about our association with one another, the organ of our mental well-being is also very, very important. And so welcome, stay put, and get to hear and also interact and be part of this as we get into this topic this afternoon. So Daktari, karibu sana and take us through this.
Wonderful. Asante sana, Doreen. It's always fun doing webinars with you. And today we are talking about one of my most favorite topics, mental health at the workplace.
Wow.
Let's look at this first slide and see if there's anybody who identifies with it.
Okay. Share the screen.
It's coming up shortly. Let's go on to the next slide, please. And let's see if there's anybody who identifies with that slide. Oh, wonderful. So here we're looking at a typical work week. And who else other than one of my most favorite cartoon characters, Snoopy. And so Snoopy is going through the week and hey, Saturday, what do you see there, Doreen? How is Snoopy feeling on Saturday?
Unexplainable is just a feeling, looks like high feeling, kind of.
Yeah, he looks rather happy, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he looks excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, then Monday reaches.
Oh my, don't speak to me.
He actually looks annoyed.
Agitated?
Yes. And by the time Tuesday, at least Monday he was standing, but he was saying, don't speak to me. So imagine you've gone to his workplace to be served.
Don't get into my business.
Yes, don't get in my business. And you're like, okay, you're waiting to be served. And they look at you like, what do you want? Wewe mwenyewe ulitoka nyumbani ukisema unakuja kazini, si ndio? Anyway, so so Monday, Snoopy said, don't speak to me. Tuesday, hey, they've already lost energy. They're like, God, get me through this day. God, if you get me through this day, I'll be so thankful. As for Wednesday, jamani, sasa wanakufa. Please, they are feeling now, let me die. Can you see that dark cloud over their head?
Is it a die day?
Hiya, Thursday, things are changing. What do you notice?
Oh, life is slowly seeping back into my body. Imagine.
Wow. At least anaanza kuamka. They're becoming a bit alive. Friday, yeah, even their eyes are open. Anticipation. A Friday, a day like today. And then anticipation. Why do people have this?
It's a Friday.
Why? So, what's so special about Friday?
Break, of course. From the routine.
From the routine.
Yes.
But I thought the work is supposed to be the most exciting time of your Monday to Friday is supposed to be the most exciting time of the week for you.
Well,
yes.
It depends.
It depends.
To the workaholics.
Okay, fine. Anyway, as far as I know, if you're in the right place, right job, doing the right job that fits in with your skills and talents, you have a good team, you're communicating well, you're working with purpose, you're feeling that you're being recognized and rewarded, you most of you be feeling like the way Snoopy looks on Saturday and Sunday. Because Friday, he's woken up, he's anticipating all the wonderful things that are going to happen over the weekend. Saturday, he's enjoying himself. As for Sunday, joy galore, hata na smile na nacheka kabisa.
Yes.
Alafu ikifika Monday, mood imepotea.
And don't leave us out, Doc. You're saying he.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. He, she. Yes,
he,
but
she.
Snoopy is a male dog. Okay, sign.
Okay.
So they. So for the people on this webinar, by the way, thank you for joining us on the webinar. It's awesome. Is there anybody here who's feeling like any of these days? Able type in whether you're feeling like today it's Friday though, but are you feeling like Thursday on the cartoon? Are you feeling like a Sunday? You're feeling like a Tuesday, or you're feeling like Monday? Let's see. Post some things in the chat box and let Doreen have a look for us. Remember, we're talking about mental health in the workplace, and we're saying that people go through different emotions during the day, during the week. And some people might experience this. Sometimes you might experience this, not every day. And from the chat, let's see, anyone who has posted how they're feeling today? Who identifies with any of those feelings? That on that cartoon. You can name them as you're feeling the same as the Friday feeling or the Thursday, Sunday, Saturday, or you're feeling like the Monday feeling.
So Doc, I can't see any chat here.
Yeah, no
but I can
worries.
see people are showing a thumbs up.
Yeah, I think
That
so.
means they're feeling good.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I can, yes, we can see, feeling like Monday, that's Mercy. Mercy feels like a Monday.
And I'm seeing there that Jackie is asking us to increase the volume. Can you hear us better now?
There is a Friday feeling,
Oh, great, Janet, thank you.
anticipation.
Grace feels like Sunday.
Oh my,
Yes,
feeling like Monday, Saturday.
yes. There's a Tuesday. Yeah.
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing how you're feeling. I hope you can hear us clearly. Let's go on to the next slide and look at the definition of what mental health is according to the World Health Organization. So according to the WHO, mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual can cope well with the normal stresses of life. They can realize their own potential. They can work productively and fruitfully, and they're able to make a contribution to their community. And it's not merely the absence of disease. And when that slide comes up, you'll see that mental health has both physical, mental, social, and spiritual components, and it can also be economical. Mental health encompasses all phases, all aspects of our lives. Okay, so it's a state of well-being where you can cope with the normal stresses of life, you can realize your potential, you can work productively and fruitfully, and you're able to make a contribution to your community. Next. Actually, when you're in good mental health, you should look something like this. Let's have some comments from our participants. How do those two wonderful ladies look? Oh, somebody's saying that I'm seeing lots of love hearts, thumbs up, they look happy, they look good. Uh-huh. Is that how you feel when you wake up on Monday morning? The way these ladies are feeling? Oh my goodness. Oh, somebody says they are crying. It's one of those days of don't talk to me. They look happy, agree, amazing, cheerful. Yes. Doreen, why mbona unatoa warembo jameni? Yes, yeah, no worries, yeah. So please, we need to go backward, not next, but before, previous, yeah. So you're saying that, so we agree that's how most of us feel on Monday morning. Previous slide, please. And yeah,
Sorry.
they're like, no worries. Yeah. Hey, they look happy, isn't it?
How beautiful.
Their faces are bright. They're like, yeah, it's Monday. I'm going to work. I'm going to make a difference. Yeah.
But it's on a Friday. The week is coming to an end.
That's fine. But what I'm asking is how many of us feel like this on Monday, the way these ladies are looking? Okay. So if you're in a state of good mental health, you would look like this. Because physically they look healthy, they look like they're well fed, their bodies are looking well toned. I'm not saying that, if your skin is not shining, that you're not mentally well. I'm just saying that our bodies carry our bodies are what houses our brain.
Yeah.
And our brain is where we process our emotions.
Yeah.
And what we eat, the way we move, our relationships with other people around us, and our ability to work productively and fruitfully is linked to the way we actually feel inside. Yeah. So if you look at the faces, then you can actually tell many times how somebody is feeling by looking at their faces, the way they're interacting with their work, the way they're interacting with other people. Yeah. So let's go on. Let's look at another definition from Public Health Agency of Canada, who defined good mental health as the capacity of each and all of us to feel, think, and act in ways that enhance our ability to enjoy life and deal with the challenges we face. I think one thing that's coming out from this slide so far is that life is never smooth. Life has ups and downs.
Yeah.
There will be stressors, which is normal. And if you're in good mental health, you should be able to deal with those challenges and be able to overcome them,
Yeah.
or be able to adapt to them or live through them,
Yeah.
and still be able to function productively and enjoy your life.
Sure.
Another way of defining good mental health is it's a positive sense of emotional and spiritual well-being that respects the importance of culture, equity, social justice, interconnections, and personal dignity.
Yeah.
So one of the things I noticed from this slide is that mental health is how we feel, think, how we feel inside,
Yeah.
how we think,
Yeah.
and how we act. And it's not just personal to us, but is also in relation to our environment,
Absolutely.
the people that we're interacting with,
Yeah.
the culture around us, and it actually impacts what we think. They say, first of all, we have that triangle, the cognitive behavior triangle,
Yeah.
in mental health, where
Yeah.
we say that what you think affects what you feel,
Yes.
and then it also impacts how you act.
Yes.
And therefore, I would like us to then go to the next picture. Next slide, rather. Now, there's some common myths about mental health. Doreen, have you ever heard somebody say that people with depression are just lazy?
Yeah.
You hear that quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you
Because
just
they're
snap out of it?
Yeah, because why are you spending the whole day
Yes.
in your bed,
Yes.
just in your bed?
Mhm.
Why can't you do anything? You're just there and not knowing could be.
That somebody is actually suffering from depression, which
Okay.
is an illness like diabetes or asthma or high blood pressure,
Sure.
and is due to a neurochemical imbalance. And the reason why that person is spending most of their time in bed, or is not signing up for a time for work activities, or even not participating in family meetings, or even in family outings. They are no longer going to social places. When they're coming late to work consistently, you may find that they're finding they're easily irritated. They are not perhaps finishing their assignments at work in good time. Things that they were so sharp in terms of being able to do and participate and contribute so well, perhaps even in discussions. Now, even when you have a meeting, they're just quiet. You notice there's something strange, something is off. So people with depression are not lazy, they are unwell. And I modified PLWMH, say people living with mental health disorders, to say that you are living with. It's like I like to say, I have a cat. I am living with a cat. I am not the cat. Why do people, not why, many times one of the things that drives stigma in mental health is that people identify people who have a mental health disorder as the disorder. Huyu amenoki, amechizi. Ndio hivyo. In fact, there was an article the other day, I was looking at it, because this has been the mental health month, and they were saying that there's this lady who has a son, I think, who has a psychotic disorder, and people would refer to her home as that home where the home of the mad person. So it is such languages that we are now saying that nobody is mad. Mental health disorders are common and treatable illnesses. And they are not the identity of the person. That's why I'm talking about person dealing with mental health disorder. Another common myth is that people with mental health disorders are violent. Actually, that is not true. They say actually less than 1% of people with mental health disorders are violent. And if you find somebody becoming violent or agitated, it is most likely because they're under extreme distress, or they're hearing and seeing things, what we call hallucinations, which the rest of us are not seeing. Other people can also, another common myth is that alcohol or drug addiction is a moral weakness. Is that true?
It's not true.
Why?
Remember what you said about neurochemical imbalances. And also when we talk about hormonal issues. Because we've seen people going through those who've been addicts, and sometimes they go through therapy, they go through they're taken for rehabilitation.
Yes.
But we get to know some of these things as a result of also biological
Yes.
issues
Yes.
with that individual. So
Mm.
it's not necessarily a moral weakness.
Yes.
That is why there are many factors that should be featured for one to really get to know why is this reoccurring.
Yes, and why is this person taking alcohol? In fact, many people
Yeah.
who use alcohol and other substances, psychoactive substances that affect the brain,
Yeah.
are actually treating undiagnosed mood and anxiety disorders, especially depression and anxiety.
Yes, yes.
And so it's always important to try and to dig a little bit deeper,
Yeah.
find out what is driving this particular behavior,
Yeah.
because as we said, how you feel
Mhm.
impacts how you think, and
Yeah.
how you think will then drive your behavior,
Yeah.
among other things around you.
Yeah.
And therefore, alcohol and drug addiction is not a moral weakness, it's a disease that
Yeah.
needs to be treated.
Sure.
Of course, it's very draining for the family members and friends and the people who are close to the person who might be addicted to psychoactive substances, because they are most likely not functioning optimally,
Mhm.
but something can be done about it, and
Sure.
there is hope.
Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
one of the most common concerns that I get from my clients
Mhm.
is that I'm afraid to start taking antidepressants or medicine for anxiety because I'll get addicted. Is that true?
Well, to some extent, yes and no.
Mhm.
And that's why when one is put on treatment, there is usually that routine of keep on coming, reviews, and
Yes.
get to know where one is.
Yes.
It is true, I came across such a client who told me I was put on a certain drug, and I decided that drug was simply to deal with some side effects.
Yes.
But ended up being on that drug. And at some point, they became like she cannot do without that drug.
Mhm.
So it is so possible. And that drug, what it was mimicking is that I don't want to feel other feelings. I'm in my own world.
Mhm.
And anytime that person could feel a bit depressed, could just get back to that drug with a prescription to the chemist and get the drug.
You brought up a very, very important point.
Yes.
Please stop refilling your prescriptions by your own.
Thank you.
What has been shown to work by science, scientific studies have shown that if you have a mental health disorder, I'll talk more about whether it is schizophrenia, a psychotic disorder, whether you have bipolar mood disorder, depression, anxiety, what works best is combining medication and therapy. And for those, you need regular visits both to your psychiatrist and to your psychologist, like Doreen. So actually in mental health, we work as a team.
Sure.
And when people say that you become addicted, I tell them the main side effect that I'm looking for in this medication that I'm writing for you is that you would feel better.
Yeah.
And we are going to start a journey of wellness that might take us a couple of months to help you get to the optimum functioning. And then from there, you need to be on your medication regularly and also continue dealing with any stressors or any other factors that are impacting you through therapy, so that you're able to build resilience, new coping skills, and build new pathways in your brain, including even the medication. Then with time, we'll also be able to wean you off.
Sure.
However, as in any given population and in any disease, there are people who will respond fast to medication. There are people who will respond slowly. There are some people who, perhaps because of multiple factors, such as, for example, they have what we call genetic loading, as in it's in their genes. They have a predisposition to getting depression or anxiety. Or they have a predisposition to getting psychotic disorders where they lose touch with reality. There are some people who, if you have such many of your relatives have a similar condition, then you're likely to be on medication for life, or you're likely to be on medication longer, as composed, for example, to a university student who failed an exam and went into a deep depression and therefore needed to be treated for depression for a couple of months, even as they get their energy back together, as they try again at what they were supposed to be doing, as we build up their support system. And it's a trigger, an easily identifiable trigger that you are dealing with, and they don't have genetic loading. So if the medicine is not addictive, but for some people, you might need to stay on the medication for a long time. But what works best, and people need to know this, is having medication and therapy.
Medication therapy.
Yeah, medication and therapy working together. Now, there's another one. Only mad people visit psychiatrists. First of all, who are these mad people?
Who gave the definition? Who brought about people coming up with someone is mad?
I think a lot of it comes from our culture and our society.
Yeah.
And therefore, that drives stigma, because people think that if you're referred to see Dr. Okech, or you're referred to see Dr. Chuguna, or Dr. Chitai, or, Dr. Masi Karanga, or you're referred to see Dr. Mashua,
or you're sent to Mathare.
or you're sent to Mathare Hospital,
yeah.
that, or you're sent to see Dr. Mongela or Dr. Mareko,
Yeah.
that, no, that you don't want people to even know that you've been sent to see a psychiatrist because they're going to label you as mad, and therefore as lesser and inferior as compared to others in society.
Yeah.
And yet that is not true.
Mhm.
Your brain,
Mhm.
your mind, and your emotions are an integral part of who we all are.
Yeah.
And as any part of the body can get sick,
Mhm.
your mind can get sick,
Mhm.
your emotions can get sick,
Mhm.
you can get a brain disease that affects your
Yeah.
behavior, your thinking, and your emotions.
Yeah.
And psychiatrists play a key role
Yeah.
in promoting mental health wellness,
Mhm.
saving lives,
Yeah.
and making sure that we're able to function at our optimum levels. And
I
so
agree.
psychiatrists are team members who work with psychologists in
Yeah.
the mental health team,
Mhm.
with the social workers, with
Mhm.
occupational therapists,
Yeah.
and psychiatric nurses, with
Yeah.
counselors,
Mhm.
and also with other members of the mental health team.
Yeah.
So if you've seen your doctor, or you feel you're not feeling quite yourself consistently,
Mhm.
and your mood is persistently low, or you're getting very anxious, you can't
Mhm.
sleep at night, you find
Mhm.
you're easily irritated,
Mhm.
or you're beginning to forget things too often,
Yeah.
then it's time to visit a psychiatrist,
Mhm.
and possibly also see a psychologist
Yeah.
for them to work together to help you regain your good health. What about the next one? The psychotherapy.
It's a waste of time and money.
Is it?
It isn't,
Mhm.
because health is quite expensive. I'm looking at it when one is undergoing other medical examinations
Yes.
and other clinics.
Yes.
Do they pay? Yes, they do.
They do, yeah.
And so it's not good for one to wait until it is too late.
Okay.
And that's when one presents.
Mhm.
So it's not a waste of time,
Mhm.
because we are looking at how best can you be able to function,
Yes.
how best can you be productive,
Okay.
and also become someone who is contributing with the society or in the community that they're living in.
Mhm.
So it is not. That's
And
a myth.
it's a myth.
Yes.
And we busted it.
Yeah.
Last but not least, the people living with mental health disorders cannot be productive and fruitful. Is that true?
Not true at all. That's a lie.
It's a lie, because there are so many people
Yes.
who are on treatment for various mental health disorders,
Yes.
who are productive,
Yes.
who are fruitful,
Yes.
who are amazing people, who are making a difference in their society, who are,
Yeah.
they're wonderful spouses, sisters, brothers.
Mothers.
They're you and I. Like myself, I'm a mental health advocate and champion.
Yeah.
So I have lived experience of living with depression and anxiety.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to say that being on medication and therapy has really, really helped me to be the best version of Vio that I can.
Oh, yes.
In fact,
Mhm.
despite all those,
Yeah.
KNH appointed me to be the chief medical specialist psychiatrist.
Fine.
Isn't that special? Thank you,
Fun fact.
Lord.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And I cannot
Yes.
forget to say thank you to the wonderful team who support me at the department that I work at. I really work with them, with a wonderful mental health team, all my
Yes.
colleagues and friends, my
Yes.
therapists, and
Mhm.
the fact that, being able to do what I believe God meant me to do,
Yeah.
meant me to be,
Mhm.
is making a difference. And I think it also makes me a bit more empathetic. I'm not saying.
And
Yes.
let me tell you,
Yes.
that's true.
Is that true?
You're one of the people I look up to. Can
Really?
you imagine? You
Wow.
impacted my life so much. You pushed me to that place of come out. So you can imagine you're causing lots of impact.
I'm glad.
You're so productive.
Thank
Can
you.
you imagine?
Yes.
If your patients hear you talking about this, you'll be
Yes.
so encouraged,
Yes.
because you are their super, you're their hero.
Amazing.
Yeah, so you're doing amazing.
So all is not lost. And
It
the
is
fact
not.
that you're going through a difficult time
Yes.
does not mean that what you're going through has to define you.
Mhm.
So let's go on to the next slide.
Awesome. And you can see people are celebrating you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
have you ever heard of this ship called the Titanic?
Tell me. I've had it in different versions.
You have?
Yeah, yours.
My version.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Now,
Uh-huh.
did you watch the movie? Oh, that movie was amazing.
Mhm.
You guys, if you've not watched this movie, The Titanic,
Uh-huh.
it's a classic, all-time classic. So moving, so tragic, but also inspiring at the same time.
Mhm.
And the Titanic
Mhm.
is actually, it leads us to what happens to most people
Mhm.
who have, what happens many times even in workplaces. We're talking about mental health of the workplace.
Yeah.
About things that can actually make
Mhm.
somebody who looks so well, so amazing,
Yeah.
so well, so amazing, Doreen.
Sorry. Mhm.
But underneath, there are things that are going on that
Mhm.
might sink their ship.
Yeah.
So the Titanic
Mhm.
was the most modern ship of its time.
Yeah.
It had top of the range engineering.
Mhm.
It was touted to be unsinkable,
Mhm.
unstoppable,
Mhm.
had the most amazing, I mean, it was like business class of business class in terms of
Yeah.
shipping.
Mhm.
And at that particular time,
Mhm.
people paid a lot of money to get into the Titanic, and they were going to cross from, I believe it was from the UK to go to the Americas. They were going to cross the Atlantic Ocean.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the people who engineered the Titanic said that nothing could ever sink that ship.
Wow.
Unfortunately,
Mhm.
when it was on the high seas,
Mhm.
something tragic happened. And that is why it's a story to remember that sometimes, even when we feel that we are invincible, we need to look out for things that are going on in our lives and around us, small things that can build up to be something that can actually wreck your life. So let's do a poll. Let's see what people are writing on the chat. So what, for you people, I know you've heard about the Titanic. So what wrecked the Titanic? Was it a mountain? Was it brakes? Was it poor steering? What's your answer? What wrecked the Titanic? Iceberg, yes, yes. It wasn't a mountain. It wasn't that the brakes failed. It was an iceberg. It wasn't poor steering by the ship of the count. It was an iceberg. And by its very definition, an iceberg is like a mountain that is underwater, and all you see is a small tip of it at that. So when you approach an iceberg, you think that all you're seeing is just like a small tip. It's just like a small thing that is jutting out of the water, and you're thinking, see this one, I will just go around it and pass. Kume, underneath, that is just 1%. 99% is underneath. And that is why when people in shipping see icebergs, I'm sure that nowadays they can detect them from so far away.
Yeah.
They steer very far away from them to avoid them, because they know that just like the Titanic, you can come to a very tragic end if you hit an iceberg. And that takes us to the depression and anxiety icebergs, because those are some of the two most common mental health disorders that people actually experience in life. And many times people don't know that this is what people are experiencing. So if you look at this picture, you actually see a picture of an iceberg. Can you see the white part? It says depression, what you see and what you don't see. So depression is one of the most common mental health disorders that people worldwide experience. In fact, studies in Kenya show that 1 out of 4 people coming to general facilities, for
The health facility.
to a health facility, 1 out of 4. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Every 4th person almost is suffering from silent depression and anxiety that has not been diagnosed, but yet they have come because they're having persistent chest pain. They are not sleeping well. Their diabetes is out of control. Perhaps they're getting frequent asthma attacks. And what you don't see is really, really impacting the functioning of this person. So their ability to enjoy life, their ability to respond to stress. Remember that first slide about being mentally well and healthy. And therefore, in this depression iceberg, they say that if you're at work, you're most likely to see somebody who is, I'll start from the extreme right, who is withdrawing socially. Okay? You're supposed to be having meetings. They excuse themselves. Okay, you've given them an assignment. They're finding it, they're handing in their assignments late. They're finding it difficult to to concentrate and to be able to put their work together. Okay. You might find that even in terms of social gatherings, whether it is now in the community, family events, they used to go to church before, they used to go to have a party, or they would go to other places. They are not going anymore, they're just at home. You might notice changes in somebody's weight. Somebody might drastically lose weight or put on a lot of weight. Okay. You'd find that most likely you'd find them. You might find somebody who used to be the first person in the office. Now people are supposed to report at 8. At 7:30, then they're already there.
Yeah.
Now they're coming in at 9:35 at 10. And even then, when you look at their faces, they are tired. Why? Because what you see is they're struggling to get out of bed.
Yeah.
You'll see changes in mood. Depression is defined as persistent low mood and sadness,
Yeah.
lasting 2 weeks or more
Yeah.
without, any major stressor that has been going on. And then feeling of hopelessness and feeling overwhelmed
Yeah.
and loss of interest in activities that one used to enjoy before.
Yeah, sure.
You might find that I've talked about low mood and sadness. You might find changes in appetite. Somebody's eating a lot or not eating at all. Yeah. And this is not just in the workplace, even in our homes and in our families. But what you don't see is what this person is experiencing. So I'd like us to concentrate on this slide. And this, by the way, I really, really commend the source of this slide. Is called the Depression Project. Please Google it. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on so many other places, and it's a wonderful support for people who are living with depression and anxiety. And so what you do not see in this person who has suddenly started coming too late to work, is not participating, is not functioning at their full capacity, is they're having difficulty in concentrating, they are forgetting things, they are feeling lonely. And since depression, mental health illnesses, mental health disorders, you won't like have a fever, you get, or you won't have broken your arm. So you're just looking normal, but it's your behavior and interaction with your environment, in your workplace, and even your family and your society, which is changing. So what they're actually feeling is they're not getting joy out of anything. And that is actually one thing that actually drives people to suicide. Sometimes people ask, why did this person commit suicide? And yet they were so rich and famous and they had so much money and all those things. I mean, and they had a wonderful family and they had good friends. They were laughing around. But inside, they were struggling. They were not getting any joy out of anything. I like to explain it like this because I have experiences on a personal level. And there are still some days when it is very, very difficult for me to get out of bed. And there are days that I wake up and I'm like, oh no, it's morning. Instead of thinking, thank you, Lord, it's morning. I'm like, good Lord, it's morning. Imagine I'm so thankful that I'm functioning well. I can get joy. But imagine the saddest day of your life. And then that is how you feel every day, all the time. So that is what people with depression go through. They might experience extreme lethargy, very, very low energy. They go to sleep tired, they wake up tired. Okay? They have cognitive distortions, such as believing that things will never get better. They feel guilty. I mean, if you keep on coming to work at 11 a.m. and you're supposed to have been there at 8, and you've explained that flexi time, and you're still struggling to get out of bed. When the first day you'll excuse, oh, I got late, the next day I did this. Sure, even you also feel guilty because you're letting your teammates down, and it's not your fault. Okay? They fight intrusive thoughts. They might hate themselves, feel dissociated from who they were before depression, feel disconnected from the world, and feel, of course, ashamed. And if it goes workless, they might feel numb, and you might feel there are also body image issues where people see that, they don't look beautiful, they don't look acceptable. And when depression goes untreated and unsupported in terms of care, medication, therapy, and the other lifestyle modifications that we talk about, then it will actually could lead to suicide, because some people, when depression is very severe, suicidal thoughts are very common, and somebody feels hopeless, helpless, they lack joy all the time, they are tired all the time, they feel they're not useful to anybody in society, and they'd be better off dead. But yet, those are just some of the lies that depression tells you. So depression is, if you notice this in yourself or in your colleague, please reach out for help. Let's go on to the next iceberg. I think it's another iceberg. The other most common mental health disorder that we see in society is anxiety. So if somebody is anxious, anxiety becomes a disorder when it is persistent fear or feelings of doom, or feelings like things are not going to work out, you're on edge, you feel tense all the time.
Mhm.
It's like, the feeling that we get just before an exam or just before an interview,
Mhm.
that's a normal response,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fight, flight, fright response.
Yeah,
But when those feelings are persistent,
yeah.
to the extent that they're affecting your ability to function, then it
Yeah.
becomes a disorder.
Yeah.
So what you see is somebody who's nervous, who's
Mhm.
fussy, they're
Mhm.
tapping their hands,
Mhm.
they're walking up and down, they're keeping on running to the loo.
Yeah.
They might develop physical symptoms such as even feel like they might get chest pains, feel like they cannot breathe, they might get panic attacks, they might feel like their tummies are settled all the time, they keep on running to the room, they might develop loose stool, diarrhea, you might also develop constipation,
Right?
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the other things that what you see is somebody who might also withdraw, because especially like in social phobia,
Yeah.
where you are afraid of being in crowds,
Yeah. Yeah.
or standing in front of people, performance anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay, you're supposed to make a presentation like myself today, and then you're like, oh my goodness, how will this presentation go? Me, I don't think I can make it. Doreen, you just take over, and you're like, Daktari, this is your presentation, please go ahead.
Yeah.
It is normal to feel anxious, but when that anxiety takes over your life,
Yeah.
it's time to reach out for help.
Yeah.
Somebody who's anxious will overplan because they want to make sure that all the bases are covered.
Yeah.
So that nothing goes wrong. They're so afraid something is going to go wrong. They are on edge.
Yeah.
They're likely to be easily irritated. They might have outbursts of anger, okay, and irritability. And that, of course, will affect their relationships with their workmates and the people around them in the workplace.
Yeah.
What you don't see, what they're actually experiencing, is they feel unsafe constantly. They feel something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
Something harmful is going to happen. And of course, as human beings, our what do you call it? The normal response is we are built to survive and thrive. Yeah, think of the lion in the jungle with the antelope. When they say that when people wake up in the jungle, everybody's running. The antelope is running and the lion is running, and whoever runs faster catches the other one.
So everyone is just running, everyone.
Yes, and sincerely, my dear, I know you are an athlete. The way some of us were also athletes in those days of 10 and up, 10 when you were in high school. But surely, even if you're running, you think you can run forever.
No.
Yes. So actually, if you're anxious all the time, there's a time you're going to reach when you actually get burnt out.
Yeah.
So what you don't see is that this person is constantly feeling unsafe. They are second guessing everything they do. They're wondering, did I do this right? They are checking their work so many times.
Yeah.
That's why they're handing in their assignment late. That's why they even when they're doing the exam, they're not sure they've read the correction, the question correctly.
Yeah.
Even when they've finished an assignment, they have gone home. They've even handed it in, but they've gone home and they're still thinking about it. There is constant mental chatter.
Yeah.
They have intrusive thoughts. They find it difficult to sleep. You've gone to bed. Tossing and turning. They can't sleep. Okay? They are so self-conscious. They're wondering whether they're loved. They're wondering, as I talked about, chest pain, feeling like they're a burden to others, feeling especially, there was a time they used to talk about the African tumbo, where they're saying that if an African is psychologically distressed, watasema tumbo inamuuma. Small children, many a time when they are distressed about something, or maybe something has happened in school, na tumbo leo siwezi kwenda shuleni, unaona?
Yeah.
So,
and Doc, another point reminds me that the muscles that really take care of anxiety are usually the muscles right around the stomach.
Right around the stomach.
Yes.
That is true.
That captures the,
Yes.
anxious feeling.
That, yes. And then also, anxiety can also come about because of, traumas that we have gone through.
Yeah, sure.
And all this, we're just saying that these are common mental health issues that people face that impact their functioning at work, at home, and in the society, and that need to be addressed when they reach a level where now they are impacting your ability.
Yeah.
They may impact you negatively.
Yeah,
your ability. You're not productive.
So much.
Yes, you can't do so much.
Yeah.
Let's go on then to look at one or two figures there in the next slide. So I've already talked about depression and anxiety being two of the most common disorders worldwide. And 1 out of 4 patients attending Kenyan hospitals for general medical conditions have undiagnosed and untreated major depressive disorder and general anxiety disorder. So how can you know that you need to seek help? The next slide actually shows two very simple questions that we need to ask ourselves, and let us see what they say. That will give us an idea on whether you need to seek help or not.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you look at that slide, it basically has 4 questions.
Yeah.
And these 4 questions, they, at the top it says, over the last 2 weeks, or agreed time to, let's say, or for ourselves, let's ask ourselves and our audience, over the last 2 weeks, how often have you experienced or been bothered by any of these things listed below, by any of the following problems? Number 1, over the last 2 weeks, have you felt little interest or pleasure in doing things that you normally enjoy? Like, for example, Doreen, you and I both enjoy singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you found, like, over the last 2 weeks, you found that you don't feel like singing at all? And if so the answers are 0, not at all, several days, more than half the days, or nearly half the days. Okay, so let's score yourself. Okay, so score yourself. Is it a 0? Is it a 1, a 2, or a 3? Okay,
I'm scoring myself.
you're scoring yourself.
Yes.
Okay. And question 2 is, over the last 2 weeks, have you been feeling down, depressed, or hopeless? Feeling excessively, when I say feeling down, they mean you're feeling sad. You're feeling excessively sad.
Excessively.
Sad, depressed, or hopeless, or like life is not worth living. So you score yourself, you're either doing 0, 1, 2, or 3. Now, add up what you have. What do you have? Me, I have 1. My score
Okay,
is
I
1.
have 1.
You also have 1.
Yes.
Now, these are very simple questions. If you scored 3 or more, a total of 3 or more, for number 1 and 2, it means you have a strong possibility that you actually have clinical depression that needs treatment. The second question, number 3, feeling, so I scored 1 because I scored 0 on number 1, and I scored 1 because there are some days I'm just feeling, oh no, I don't want to go anywhere. Anyway, thankfully there are not too many. I used to be on 3 for a very long time, and you couldn't tell also because I would look normal, but inside I was really, really suffering. So when I overcame stigma, societal stigma, and my personal stigma, and reached out for help, it has made my life so much better. And I'm thankful. And I'm a living example that you can actually function well and be productive.
Sure.
Yeah, there is help
I
out
know,
here.
right?
Don't suffer alone. Reach out. It's okay to be okay. Not
It's
okay.
okay not to be okay. Yeah,
It's okay not to be okay. Okay, fine. So
Mm.
read for us number 3 and 4
Feeling nervous, anxious, or on edge.
over the last 2 weeks. So have you been feeling excessively nervous, anxious, or on edge over the last 2 weeks? So it's either not at all, 0, several days, more than half days, or nearly every day. And then number 4, over the last 2 weeks, have you
Not
been able to stop or control worrying? Do you find yourself worrying all the time, feeling like something bad is going to happen? You're worry.
And you're not able to stop.
And you're not able to stop. So the thoughts just going round in your head. So you've scored yourself?
Yes.
I have a 1 there again because I have 3. On number 3, I have 1. And on number 4, I have a 0 actually. So my score is still 1. So basically what we're saying here, now questions 3 or 4 screen for anxiety, that is general anxiety disorder, panic disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and social anxiety, with a score of 3 or more of these 2 items suggesting the strong possibility of clinical anxiety. So people, by the way, we're going to email you these slides. So just make sure, if you have registered, we'll email you the presentation.
Yeah.
Once, if you score 3 on either of these things, either of these 2 scales, number 1 and 2, or number 3 and 4, it then means that you either have clinical anxiety or depression that actually is impairing your functioning, is impairing your fruitfulness, is impairing your productivity, and you need to reach out for help. Let's go on to the next slide. So why should we be discussing this topic? Why is mental health important at the workplace? Because untreated mental health is very, very, very expensive. It costs. It costs millions. Studies have shown that it costs the employer a lot less to identify people with mental health disorders and support them in their well-being, to promote mental and physical wellness, of course, which go hand in hand, and to prevent mental health disorders than it is to treat them.
Wow.
And the importance is because
when somebody is not functioning well, if they are depressed, anxious, if they're addicted to a substance, if they're hearing voices, if they have gone through traumatic things and they are experiencing panic attacks, or they have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorders, then they're more likely to get sick of and be absent from work.
Yeah.
Or they might be present at work. The running joke about the Kenyan civil service, which has been there for so many years, is that you go into an office and you find a coat and an empty chair. That's actually not presentism. No, that is absenteeism. That is because, I mean, the coat shows walikuja kazini, lakini hawapo. Presentism, they are seated there in the coat, but their mind is not there.
Yeah.
Have you ever been seated somewhere and you're elsewhere? I mean, your body is in Kenyatta National Hospital, but your mind is might even be at home, isn't it?
Sure.
Because you left a sick child and you're wondering, did they wake up well? Because you left the house before? Yeah. So it's so important for us to screen for and manage mental health disorders and have a mentally healthy workplace, so that we can reduce lost productivity, reduce incidence of frequent sick offs and illness, reduce chances of accidents. We have a positive company culture instead of a negative one. And if staff cannot function, you're likely to let them go. Then you have to either start training from scratch, or you have to get new people. Okay. And your training budget will really go up. And then, of course, especially like I'm thinking about we are in the healthcare system. Don't you find that when you see a client whom you have seen before, with whom you have developed a rapport, you're just picking up the story from where they were at the last time that you saw them. But if every time your customers come, or even let's say, I'm not talking even let's say, for example, you own a restaurant. There are restaurants, so let's talk about the salon where women here. Don't you go to the salon because there's a particular person who does your hair in a certain way?
Oh yeah.
And if you find that the nail person is not there,
you're like another day.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So all of us have special giftings and skills and talents that make us unique in our workplaces, and that positively impact our client interaction, client-customer interactions. And of course, if you're working in teams that are supportive and you're mentally healthy, even the people we are attending to, they leave the place feeling satisfied, not just because of what they have been given, but the manner in which it has been delivered. So promotion of mental well-being is cheaper than treating mental health disease. So that's the takeaway from this slide. Let's go on to the next slide. So we've seen that it's very, very important it's expensive to treat any type of illness, but more so mental illness, which many times is hidden under that iceberg and is not written on our foreheads. And therefore we need to look out for one another and be more proactive. So let's look at some common signs of mental health at the workplace. You'll notice changes in behavior or mood, noticeable changes such as increased irritability, mood swings, and we've talked about social withdrawal. Untreated mental health disorders will decrease in performance. You find somebody is consistently missing deadlines, or they're making errors in their work, or they are not productive, as productive as they were. So you notice changes in productivity, and especially in any industry, but more so the healthcare industry. If you make errors, we are working on live human beings. If you give the wrong lab results, and if we write the wrong medication, or if you dispense the wrong medication, or if you don't, operate properly. I mean, we've had issues, like if you operate on the wrong patient, not only have you negatively impacted a person and their family behind them and the whole community in terms of their support system, but it also has legal implications. And therefore, it's cheaper to look out to build a mentally healthy workplace culture, so that you can reduce absenteeism. We talked about common signs of mental health disorders at the work: frequent absences, arriving late without a valid reason, inability to focus on tasks, or somebody forgetting even that they were supposed to have come for a meeting or an assignment, complaints, physical complaints such as headache, fatigue, unexplained stomachache, difficulty in falling asleep, staying asleep,
Mhm.
okay, which will then, somebody is fatigued the next day because we're not able to sleep at night, huh?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Or they are trying to medicate themselves using psychoactive substances that make them feel better,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
If you notice that a colleague is withdrawing, okay,
Mhm.
they are avoiding social interaction with colleagues and or reluctant to participate in team activities, ask in private, how are you? How are you really doing? Is there any way I can help you?
Mhm.
That's why it's important to have mental health buddies
Yeah.
at the workplace.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
Other common signs of mental health disorder at the workplace are visible signs of distress, such as crying spells,
Mhm.
panic attacks, outbursts of anger,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
Increased use of substances such as alcohol or drugs as a coping mechanism,
Mhm.
changes in appearance. Now imagine, Doreen, I wish these guys could see how wonderful we are both looking in pink. Oh yeah, hey, we are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are good. As we say, it is Friday.
It
We
is
are
Friday.
looking so nice.
Anticipating.
And then, yeah,
Uh-huh.
and we're anticipating the weekend. And then you, Doreen, who's always looking like, you come in, you've not even combed your hair, your lab coat, you're wearing it kind of
Oh my.
upside down, inside down.
Yeah. They wonder, hey.
That's why it's good for us to be one another's mirrors.
Yeah.
If you see
Mhm.
your colleague or even yourself,
Mhm.
you've just rushed out of the house
Mhm.
wearing one blue and one pink, so hey, neglecting personal hygiene, significant changes in appearance.
Yeah.
You could appear at the office instead of slaying us with your normal perfume that normally slays us. You are slaying us with another. I think it's a body odor. Body odor. Hey, Ogao, my sister. Anyway, so
Uh-huh.
you might find somebody's offering critical of themselves or others, leads to unrealistic expectations and says, Doreen, why are you laughing?
Mhm.
See me, I'm
It's
looking
finding
good.
fun. Representation.
So we are saying,
Uh-huh.
hey, please, let's be your neighbor's mirror,
Yes,
be
yes.
your colleague's mirror,
Yeah.
be your sister's mirror, your brother's mirror, let's be one another's mirrors.
Yeah.
Yes, haya tuendelee.
Okay.
So these are signs, signs that there is something, there's an iceberg,
Okay.
kuna iceberg. But today when you go home,
Mhm.
people who are on this webinar, please tell your family that you are talking about the Titanic and some icebergs,
Yeah.
and discuss some mental health things. Yeah,
Sure,
let's
sure.
go on, please.
Okay.
So these are some common causes of workplace distress mentally. One is unclear work directions.
Mhm.
You are employed.
Yeah.
2,
Mhm.
give me an example, Doreen.
I'm
Unclear.
employed.
Yes,
I'm not given my job description, what I'm
Yes.
supposed to do.
yes. So you knew you're coming in as a
Yes.
manager to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Suddenly you've also become the accountant.
Uh-huh.
Suddenly you're also the tea lady, especially, I'm sorry, but sometimes our agenda to now. They say women do a lot of soft work in organizations that are not paid. Yeah, they're the ones who talk nicely to people so that we understand one another.
Mhm.
Na hiyo ni kazi kama ingekuwa mwanaume alikuwa analipwa. And boy child, we are not honoring you. You are very important.
Yeah,
Yes,
very
yes. But we are
important,
saying
yeah.
unclear work directions.
Yes,
So
yes.
when you do not have unclear work directions,
Yeah.
there is a lot of space
Mhm.
there's leeway
Yeah.
for you to be given extra work
Yeah.
and to be even overworked and underpaid,
Yeah.
and it will impact your health
Sure.
negatively, both
Absolutely.
physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Mhm. Poor work-life balance, poor boundaries around your life and work.
Yeah.
You carry your work home, your
Yeah.
work follows you home, your work even follows you inside the bed. Okay, I
imagine?
don't want to talk about adult things here, but really, tuache kazi kazini,
Kazini.
alafu tukifika home tukue home. Yes, so that when mzee, ya baba mzee and mama, and
Yes,
if you're single, ready to mingle like some, and
Mm.
anyway, let's not go there. But basically, you need to have a balance. Otherwise, if you're carrying your work, you're working 24/7. Hey, you're not the energizer bunny. You will burn out.
You're burn.
Yes,
You're burn.
bullying.
Usichome,
Yes,
usichome.
usichome
Yes.
na usimchome mwenzako.
Kabisa.
Please
Uh-huh.
give people time. Even if you are an employer, give your people time to rest.
There is it a policy that came up
That,
civil, public service that if your employer calls you
Yes,
when it is the time is up for you to work,
yes,
odd hours,
yes.
then you have a right not to pick that call and
Yes.
you can report them. Yes, I
I-
think there is something like that.
I think
There's a
that
directive like that.
I think that is a good directive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to have balance. Life works better when we are balanced. Because when you go either on one side also, when you carry your house, all your house to your workplace, jamani, please, ulikuja kufanya kazi.
Yeah, sure,
Yes,
sure.
yes. So please, let's leave home at home and work at work. Of course, they overlap,
Yeah.
but as much as possible, let's try and have some boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries are protective, and
Yeah.
boundaries promote good mental and physical health.
I like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Now, other causes of common distress at the workplace are bullying, discrimination.
Can you imagine?
What is discrimination? Anyways,
Discriminating.
when we used to do stigma, sorry, I'm answering my own question. We say
Yes.
discrimination is treating somebody
Yes.
lesser because you perceive them to be different or lesser
Yeah.
because of inequality. Whether it because, for example, like you guys are not seeing Doreen, but she is pretty light skinned. Na mimi ni
Okay.
chocolate. So, so just because Doreen is jealous of my, it's not true though, of my chocolate skin.
Yes.
Hey, now she decides that she can't sign for me to go for, you can't chagua me to go for a workshop.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine. Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, or discrimination because of your last names, eh?
Oh,
Yeah, something like that.
See?
Yes.
True. Getting
This-
to know which name is this.
Yeah, which names? When you Nakudisa Doreen, you chose to be born in where you were born.
No, I didn't. I
Ama
never
your
sent
parents
an
chose?
application either.
Even me sikutuma.
Yeah.
Mimi
So-
I'm going to change my name. I'm going to call myself somebody like a Chinese name. Unaonaje? See, our Kenyan runners, they go to other places, then you hear they are called this, they're called Swedish, then you're like, hey, okay, ni sawa. We thank God. But I'm saying
Yeah.
discrimination.
Yeah.
When we don't treat one another fairly,
Yeah.
which brings us to the point that we need to have a workplace mental wellness policy. We need to have a workplace policy about discrimination, about bullying, about sexual harassment.
Yes.
The other thing that causes mental health disease at the workplace and even anywhere is you have a poor fit between what you're gifted in and the work that you are doing. Okay, poor
Yes.
talent competency fit.
Wow.
Okay, and therefore it's good for us to evaluate ourselves. Of course, sometimes we take the job that is available, but hopefully you can be able to work, either make lemonade out of the lemon that you have been handed,
Yeah.
or to be able to work your way to the area that actually fits better with what you're actually doing. And in fact, we have a hospital talent committee, and I'm really looking forward to just looking at how we can have a better work talent fit at KNH.
Awesome.
Other thing that very, very distressing is poor communication.
Poor communication.
You don't hear about things that you need to hear about, or you hear about them last minute,
Yeah.
or you hear them on the corridor,
Yeah.
instead of it being communicated through normal channels, whether it is good news or bad news. So having a clear, concise communication, and communication that goes back and forth, and that is timely also, and that is coached in terms that are people friendly, is not just top-down communication, I think is very, very important to people's mental health. Do you agree?
I agree.
You totally agree.
Yeah.
Please handle that last one.
Favoritism, unequal treatment, stigma. Yeah, simply that, just like an example that Doc gave is workshops comes up, people want to go for some treats, but there is a certain group.
Yeah,
Because
they're the ones
you come
always
from-
going. Yeah.
You come from where I come from, you can be the only one to be part of this clique.
Yes.
That's stigma.
Yes.
That's favoritism.
Yeah, that is an equal treatment.
Unequal
And
treatment,
should be
yes.
able, your workplace should be mentally healthy enough for people to say, enyewe hapa, how come Doreen is always going for all this? What about David?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Doc, remember,
Yes.
this is where we spend most of our time. Can you imagine?
Yeah, by the way,
We spend lots of time
Yeah.
at workplace.
it's true.
Yeah.
That is,
So this can really take a toll on an individual if it is not looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we hope that we're giving you food for conversation. Thank you so much for keeping engaged, and all the thumbs up and the comments that we're seeing on the on the wall. Thank you. Let's go. We're almost done.
Yeah.
So what are some characteristics of mentally healthy workplaces?
Yeah.
a workplace is said to be mentally healthy if people feel supported, they feel happy coming to work, and they're comfortable talking about their mental health and anything that is impacting them, whether it is physically, socially, spiritually, mentally.
Yeah.
Okay? Where there's a positive workplace culture and an understanding that
Yeah.
mental health is everyone's responsibility,
I
and
know.
therefore you look out for one another the way we do at the Department of Mental Health at KNH. And where stress and other risks to mental health are recognized and managed,
Yeah.
where people feel safe and supported to talk about mental health, and where mental health support is tailored for individuals and teams. You can get more about characteristics of mentally healthy workplaces on that reference that I put below.
Doc, I like the second point.
Tell me.
Mental health is everyone's responsibility.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
What do you like about it?
I like that it should be.
Yes.
It should be my concern.
Yes.
It should be my business to ensure that I don't have to wait, because I see also this kind of transferring the responsibility. It is these people who are supposed to do this for me to enjoy this.
Yes.
But when we take it as a responsibility, I care for my mental health.
Yes.
I care for the mental health of the other person that I'm working with.
Yes.
And out of that, we're able to support each other.
Yes.
When we take it as my responsibility.
Yes. Yeah.
I like
So it starts with you.
Yeah.
And it's you and I together, and we are stronger together.
Absolutely.
So how do we manage mental health at the workplace? We've already given you tools to be able to look at when you need extra help, when the signs and symptoms of common mental health disorders.
Yeah.
We've given you a screening tool. And in a workplace that is supporting mental health, we need to be able to have easily available therapy and medical treatment. We need to promote mental health wellness. Identify people who are passionate and enthusiastic about mental health promotion, like myself and Doreen. We are both mental health champions. And like one of the things in an organization, it's important for you to have an employee assistance program where your employees and their dependents are able to access support for psychosocial and mental health issues. Of course, most employers already give you a cover or access to treatment for physical diseases, but where you have other issues that are impacting you, they need to be a team of counselors and psychologists working together to be able to help people, employees and their families to cope with things that are happening in their lives so that they can be able to continue thriving. Also, peer mentorship is very, very important. People who live with mental health disorders or people who have lived experience, they're called lived experience experts. Like I'm a lived experience expert in depression and anxiety. By the way, I have a Jamani, naomba nitaji-advertise. I have a special interest in women's mental health. Wow. So if you're a woman and you're experiencing signs of depression and anxiety, if you've gone through trauma, if you are a survivor of sexual and gender-based violence, Doreen and I actually work together a lot in that particular field. Sure. So please reach out to us, and there is no shame in reaching out. Absolutely. Yeah, because as we say, there is no health without mental health. Yes. So the other ways in which you can manage mental health at the workplace is to develop a culture of no stigma. Provide mental health support to one another. And it's okay to go to come to the Department of Mental Health to be seen, or to go to see your psychiatrist or psychologist. If you need a mental health day off because you are not feeling well, then you can be given that particular day. Sure. And you have regular breaks, you have break rooms, you have green spaces. Green spaces have actually been shown to really have a calming effect on the body and the mind of people. You have the way things are built in your workplace and in the area where you are operating. Is there even a pathway where somebody can go to take a walk? Clean, well-lit, even pathways and roads. Okay? And I'm talking about even, so that the cobblestones are not, one is pointing up and one is pointing down. Tunaenda kufanya tizi unaanguka unavunjika. Sasa unakaa nyumbani tena 3 months akwendangi hivyo. So we're just saying that all the things around us support are important for our mental health, and our mental health is also linked up to our physical health. And of course, support for management. That is the most important.
Management support, yes.
It's key. It starts at the top.
Yes, managers are.
Yes, please.
You're one of the managers.
Yes, so I am. That's why I'm doing this. Yes. And in fact, yes,
Yes,
tafadhali.
yes.
In fact, we are actually going to present this to the hospital management because, as a wrap up to the Mental Health Awareness Month,
Yeah,
actually on Monday.
good.
And so the Ministry of Health has actually produced national guidelines
Yeah.
on mental health at the workplace. And each organization is supposed to apply those and develop a mental health wellness, what do you call it? Work plan.
Yeah.
And apply that policy, have a mental health wellness policy that is tailored to the organization, drawing from the national guidelines, and have wellness plans and work plans, have wellness champions, and people and work together with other stakeholders so that their employees and even the customers who we serve in whichever field are able to thrive.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Great.
That's beautiful.
Now, what's the very last slide? Actually, we're almost done. We're 2 slides away.
Yeah.
I hope what we're talking about is doable. Huh? Tuendelee.
Yeah.
So here's some mental wellness tools that you can actually, I'll ask Doreen to help me read through them. And I'll ask you, people who are our friends and our colleagues who are on this webinar, as we wind up the webinar, pick up 1 or 2 things that you think you'd like to work on or that you're already doing.
Okay, great. Gratitude journaling, 3 good things. Every day find out 3 things that you can be grateful about, even as you start your day. Mindfulness, growth mindsets. Always having that moment to reflect and also opening up your mind to be able to learn new things. Like now, I'm sure there are many things that we are getting to here.
Yes.
It is very, very important to see how to incorporate some of those things. Practicing forgiveness. I usually say you don't forgive because that other person really needs that forgiveness, but forgiveness serves you first. By forgiving, you're letting go of that load that you're carrying.
Yes.
You've ever heard of, they say in the language, Kiwaru.
That Kiwaru,
that Kiwaru is just remaining there. So by forgiving, you're saying, I'm letting go of all this. I want to take care of myself. Because unforgiveness also takes toll on an individual who is carrying the grudges. The other person might not be aware of what you're dealing with.
In fact, somebody has described unforgiveness as swallowing poison and hoping the other person will die.
Thank you.
And therefore, that's why even the Bible says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Of course, forgiveness is a conscious decision. And when you forgive somebody, or by the way, we often also need to forgive ourselves because we are not perfect. And when we learn to practice self-compassion, it actually promotes better mental health. When we learn to forgive ourselves and others, because we are not perfect, they're not perfect, and life can be unjust. And there are people who can be people and circumstances that can really be unkind to you. And we are not saying that it is right for somebody to be unkind to you or to do you in. But you cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. Now, let me talk about physical exercise a bit. So regular physical exercise. Are you doing some regular physical exercise for at least 30 minutes 3 times a week?
Come here.
You are?
Yes. Let me give you an example of what you're doing with our colleague. And that is why it's very, very important to team up with someone who can inspire you and encourage you. We usually do, we take, before we leave after work, we usually take rounds. Around KNH is huge.
Yes.
So you'll find us walking.
Wow.
Before we leave.
Yes.
That itself, we can do it for 20, 30 minutes.
That's amazing.
And that is good.
And it's fun also because you're with somebody who you like.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Food for thought. So actually the science says that if you can do this, the physical exercise is good for you. Regular physical exercise, at least 30 minutes, 3 times a week, regular. And even if you can't do 30 minutes at a time, you can do 15 minutes. Isn't it?
I do. Like, for example, just giving an example with KNH. Go upstairs.
Yes.
We have all the way to 10th floor.
Yes.
Don't do the lifts. Go using the staircase. And that itself is still part of the exercise.
Yeah.
Where you can be able to cut a little sweat.
Yes.
Yes, that's exercise.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, our mental health is affected by what we eat. There is a very, very big connection between what you eat and your brain.
Yeah.
And try and minimize processed foods, carry a healthy snack to work, hydrate, and once in a while, fast.
Wow.
Very, very important.
No, it's important.
Yeah.
It resets your body.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
In fact, the time I was doing a no sugar, no gluten challenge for a man,
Mhm.
you should have seen me, the girl.
Mhm.
Stairs that I could not climb before in church.
Yush.
I mean, nilikuwa naenda mimi ndio huyo, aches and pains hakuna.
Mhm.
I was like, wacha, this is me. So me,
Yeah.
antairudia.
Utairudia.
But what I found out was
Uh-huh.
I was doing it as part of a group. So when I stopped doing the group work, alone imekuwa kali. So I think nitakurecruit with the bread.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'll
I'm
get.
not on sugar.
You're not on sugar.
Yes.
And what about gluten?
Oh,
Bread.
yotanuka.
I'm not anything about bread, but gluten, wheat
Mhm.
actually can also really affect your. There are foods that
People
actually.
were laughing.
Yeah, they're laughing. Oh, mutuko pamoja.
We will recruit you.
Yes. Have you reached home and the bread is calling you from the fridge?
You don't. You need some better.
I have been nimetumwa. Ni sawa, tuko wengi. I'm seeing the reactions. Yeah. So doing a no sugar, no gluten challenge. In fact, we are supposed to be doing there's a challenge tutaanza hiyo quarter 3. Inaitwa well at work.
Well at work.
Wow.
Culture change.
Culture change.
Well at work.
Well at work. Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Watch out for that webinar.
Mhm.
Yeah. So keeping your brain active is
Mhm.
also important. Your brain is a muscle. Like if you don't use it, you
the
know.
more you use it, the more it is stretched.
Yes, you know. Yeah, you know, apart from doing your regular work, you know,
Yeah.
learn a different skill,
Yeah.
learn a different language.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And give back. Give
Give
back.
back.
Yeah.
Give back.
Give back to society.
Yeah.
They say that actually when you give,
Yeah.
oh, what is it? You know how there's something about to give is better than to receive.
Yes. Blessed are those who give.
Yes.
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 And those who receive.
Yes. Now,
Mhm.
studies have actually shown
Yes.
that if they did experiments where somebody was, there were people who are being given things, people who are receiving things. The ones who are giving,
Mhm.
their brains lit up more in the happiness center than the ones who are
Because I
receiving.
think, Doc, there is such a fulfillment.
Yes.
You're seeing, you're supporting, you're helping,
Yes.
you're giving to someone,
But
there
still-
is such a
Yes,
hormonal
yes.
kind of,
Yes,
it is
yes.
good hormones.
Yes, but
that
with
happens.
boundaries, eh? Sio
Of course.
kupeana kila kitu, isn't it?
well.
So everything in moderation. Yes, yes. Giving back, cultivating spirituality. You came from somewhere,
Yes.
and
Uh-huh.
God is there.
Yes.
God made us,
Mhm.
and He doesn't just want to see you on Sunday or on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good to have a
yeah.
relationship.
A relationship with
With
your
the
Creator.
greater power.
Yeah, the higher power.
The higher
Yeah,
power.
with a higher power.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
having good friends. Actually, as we end this webinar,
Yes.
so I belong in this group where, well, a number of us are almost retiring. Retiring from what? We will retire, RE-TIRE. But we have served this country, and we are privileged to continue serving in now senior positions.
Yeah.
Maintaining good social ties. Each
Good.
one of us need to
Not
have
just social ties.
good.
But good.
You need to have 2 or 3 friends
Yes.
who you can just be yourself with,
Mhm.
even if you are the president.
Yes.
They can tell you this is going well, this is not going well.
Yes. Yes.
They can applaud you.
Mhm.
There are days you can just tell them, me, I do not understand what these Kenyans are. I am trying to help them, they are just complaining.
Yes.
Who are they?
How are we?
Yes, how are we?
Yes.
You need to have friends
Yes.
who will tell you, Doreen,
Mhm.
hey, jamani.
Leo
hapo
ni aje?
leo ni aje? Yes, and people at
Yeah.
your level, okay?
Yeah.
And of course, you need to be mentoring those people behind you,
Yeah.
and you also need to. It's good to also have mentors.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
for people who have good social bonds, 2 or 3 friends who have known you for years and years.
Yeah.
If you don't have any, build 1 or 2 friendships,
Yeah.
where you go through thick and thin together.
Mhm.
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 That will give you a long, healthy, and happy life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
And it will prevent you from having debilitating chronic diseases. It is true.
Yeah.
Angalieni siku hizi Dr. Google ako na kila kitu.
Yeah.
Sawa, we have talked about work-life boundaries,
Yes.
and also boundaries also around your heart and your mind.
Yeah. Very true.
Boundaries about what is important to you,
Mhm.
walking in your purpose.
Mhm.
These are all webinars among themselves.
Yes.
But basically we are saying, you are at work,
I like that accent. Mhm.
ulitoka kwenu ama umetoka kwako
Yeah.
kufanya kazi,
Mhm.
kuhudumia Wakenya, to
Mhm.
offer a service,
Yeah.
a product,
Yeah.
and try to take very good care
Yeah.
of your body,
Yeah.
your soul, and your spirit.
Yeah.
so that you can remain mentally well,
Yeah,
mentally healthy,
yeah,
be a productive member of society,
yeah,
deal with stresses,
yeah.
and continue thriving. In
Yeah.
fact, hebu tuangalie hiyo the next slide inakaaje.
And as you say that, Doc, I'm remembering that, you know,
Mm.
you are the only house that you ever live in.
Oh yeah, by the way.
If you're not okay, even
Yes.
that house that is right there,
Yes.
it may not help you.
Yeah.
Even the beautiful mansion.
Yeah. So take care of the wonderful mansion that you have been given by God.
Yeah.
You only have one of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, is our
he's our friend Snoopy.
yes.
So Snoopy says at some point you just have to let go of what you thought you should happen
yes.
and live in what is
What
happening.
is happening? Yeah.
Yes,
The reality.
the reality.
Yes.
Ni hivyo, ni hivyo.
Ni hivyo. Kama ni hivyo.
Yes,
Iko
Doreen,
hivyo,
I'm
but-
chocolate. Ni
Yes.
sawa.
Yes.
Mwah.
Appreciating that. And
Yes.
if we can be able to do this, we can also pass it to our next generation. That is our children.
In what way?
Because I've seen many children don't also appreciate who they are.
Yes.
And I've dealt with even some of the teenagers who have changed, you know, they have bleached, they have changed the complexion of how they look, simply
Yes.
because they feel they are not enough.
Yes.
But the moment we embrace and celebrate and appreciate
Yes.
who we are,
Yes.
then that one will become a very great way to.
I so agree. And you know, anyway,
Mhm.
if we're all chocolate skinned
Ah,
or rangi ya
boring.
kao kama
It would be
wewe, it would be boring,
Yeah.
si ndio?
Yeah.
Fika dada.
It will
So,
be boring. So diversity differences are
Yes,
good,
yes.
and we need to embrace and appreciate them.
yes,
Yes.
in fact,
be unique.
be unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be who you are.
I
Be
saw
unique.
on a mat once
Uh-huh.
that please stop
Uh-huh.
trying to be other people. Concentrate on being yourself because being other people is already taken.
Oh,
So be you.
Be you. Do you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be you.
Mhm.
Do you.
Yeah.
You are great.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful. In ending, before we do a short Q&A,
Yeah.
be like these seeds.
Mhm.
They tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds.
Oh my.
Somebody like, yani, unafikiria umelemewa
Yeah.
na hiyo kulemea. It's okay. It's for a season.
Yeah.
Go into the ground,
Mhm.
nurture yourself,
Mhm.
and arise
Yes.
as a beautiful, thriving flower.
Awesome.
Asanteni.
Wow. Thank you so much, Doc, for that amazing presentation that we've had this afternoon. And thank you so much. You can see you're receiving claps, flowers, loves. We celebrate you. Thank you for amazing conversation. And as we bring this to a close and allow some, we get to respond to some questions here. I want to say, Doc, that mental health happens in a continuum,
Yes.
whereby you can find yourself today, you are not okay,
Mhm.
but you find yourself again at a better place.
Okay.
So no one should ever beat themselves too hard. And if you feel that you cannot be able to manage what you're experiencing, what you're going through, I want to say that help is available. Don't just sit there and say, oh, I don't know where I can be able to go. You can even come right away at Kenyatta National Hospital, Department of Mental Health, and you can be able to get that support. So let me look through to our chat.
Thank you very much, Doreen. You've made this so much fun for me. And yeah, let's look at what our colleagues and friends have said.
Okay.
Yes. I see so there are some requests for being sent the presentation. If you put in your email addresses, we'd be happy to send it to you. Or your WhatsApp numbers, we'd be happy to send it to you. Yes.
Okay, Doc,
Mhm.
I think there is a question here by a friend says, what might be the cause of one feeling that he has a bad smell and that his colleagues are experiencing having the same feeling about his body smell? This happens only when in school and not at home when he comes home. This is a sign of what mental health problem.
Hey, Alfred, thanks for reaching out. It could actually be a sign of what we call, there are people who experience that. It could actually be something physical going on in terms of your brain or even in terms of your nasal cavity, but it could also be a sign of a mental health disorder. Please reach out and be evaluated by a psychiatrist.
Thank you, Doc. Is feeling tired, that is Sabina,
Mhm.
is feeling tired all the time a sign of mental disorder?
Sabina, feeling tired could come from both a physical or a mental disorder. It could even be coming from anemia or something like having hypothyroidism. I would suggest that I wouldn't say that feeling tired alone or feeling tired only is a sign of mental health disorder, I would suggest that you be evaluated by a physician, and then from there, they'll be able to tell you whether you need to see a psychiatrist or not.
Thank you. Eunice, can we say narcissism is a recurring depressive disorder? How can one approach someone okay, these are two questions.
Yes.
How can one approach someone who has been into depression, maybe to seek for medical assistance? Remember, this is a pure narcissist. Will they be helped?
Okay, thanks, Eunice. Now, narcissism is actually what we call a personality disorder. It is, you put the question away, I can't see it anymore.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. Narcissism
yeah.
is a personality disorder. It's not a recurring depressive disorder. It's a set way in which somebody views views themselves and views people around them, in that they feel entitled, they are self-centered, they find it difficult to empathize with others, and it is an unusual way of relating with people that is harmful to the people around you. Narcissists rarely change unless they have a really, I would call it a Damascus moment, like Paul to Saul.
Yeah.
And unless they're willing to put in the hard work of working with a psychotherapist to look at the dysfunctional ways in which they relate with others and are willing to modify their behavior. If you think that somebody needs assistance, you can suggest it to them, but you cannot force them to go.
Yeah.
As they say in my mother tongue,
Yeah.
you can take a cow to the river, but you cannot force it to drink.
Yeah. Sure.
I hope that's helpful.
Wow, thank you for that response, Doc. Being kindly, yes, to those who are okay, nice presentation. Someone had to leave because of their day, that's okay, and the presentation will be shared, as Doc said. Being that someone has seen some changes in me, that's Rosrida, that depicts mental health issues. How can she or he help? How can I be approached?
I'm not sure I understand that question. Is it that
as someone sees changes
yes,
in me that depict mental health issues?
yes,
How can she or he help? Yeah,
please take it.
I'm looking at it this way. Someone who has seen someone needs help and they are genuine enough, they always be able to call that person and get to find out exactly what is happening. And by that simply that person creating an environment whereby the party in question feel that they are not judged, they can be able to express, then that becomes an easy way to even give that support. So I think for me, the first thing should be create that safe space for this person.
And also refer them to professional help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Refer them
yes.
to professional help. Once you get to know exactly, because also seeing changes and it's a twisted, it's like asking, I'm the one who was out on someone.
Yes.
But if there is that environment, then you can be able to get to know and then refer to the appropriate people.
Okay, I'm seeing there anonymous attendee asking, how do we see you for women mental health issues? The first slide has my contact, but also I like to tell people it's the truth. If you put in Dr. Violet Oketch contact into Google, it will bring my number.
Wow.
I'm Googleable.
Googleable.
Yes.
I like that. So George is the mental health docket in our facility. Most of our counselors need a refresher course on how to handle people and themselves, get frequent offloading platforms. Ndio wakirudi ofisi wako fresh, not moody.
That is so true, George. Yeah. There's something if you're a therapist, if you're a counselor or a mental health practitioner, you're actually supposed to be going for your own therapy regularly and also meeting with your peers in something which we call supervision.
Yes.
Not the supervision of boss, to mentee. It's the supervision of you're sitting and talking about the cases that you have gone through and how they've impacted you within your peers so that you can give one another feedback and support to maintain your own mental health. So we totally agree with you, George.
There's need for that, and also personal therapist.
Yes.
Is also very, very important. See your therapist as often as you can.
There's a comment here from David. The major thing affecting medics, can you see it?
Sorry.
Is the major health affecting medics is the inability to hold grudges
Mhm.
not being able to exercise, not able to balance work and social life, being able to find someone to talk to.
Mhm.
We are here, talk to us, but
Mhm.
life is made up of choices, huh?
Mhm.
And when you talk about not being able to exercise and not being able to balance work and social life,
Yeah.
you might need to talk with a psychologist
Mhm.
or with a counselor
Mhm.
so that you can look at the way you are leading your life.
Mhm.
Maybe you are having poor boundaries in terms of saying yes to everything and to
Mhm.
everyone, and therefore you don't have time for yourself.
Yeah.
Remember, there's only one you.
Yeah.
And if your tent fall apart,
Mhm.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's true. You don't have a spare. But
Yes,
you're saying I will take spare dog
Yes,
coverage.
yes.
I'm working with the doctor thoroughly.
yes, yeah,
There isn't. You're still one person.
yes.
So take up another one. Do you have?
Somebody is saying, let's have the code to update CPT points. I believe that that will be sent. Do we please put in your email addresses so that we are able to send you the presentations and CPT points.
Thank you for that compliment.
Wow,
We need to
Rachel.
start our podcast. It was so somebody relaxing. Oh my.
Rachel, you have so made my day. Thank you so much. This
Oh,
is a
yeah,
great
yeah.
webinar.
Yeah.
Rachel Kaboro, you need to have a podcast. This is so relatable and relaxing.
Yeah.
You mentioned that ladies can reach out to you about their depression and anxiety. How do we contact you?
Google.
My phone number
Google. You
is
said they can-
0789821004.
Again.
My cell phone number for WhatsApp is 0789821004. Thank you, Grace, for your kind comments. We are very grateful. Thank you, Cyrus, for putting in your email address. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for the feedback. So helpful.
Thank
Oh, we
you.
are so glad that you guys enjoyed our presentation. Yes, we'll share the slides with you.
Yeah.
Yes, and the recording too.
Mhm.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
Daktari, is hysteria a mental disorder? Hysteria is a layman term for when people experience extreme emotional distress,
Yes.
but it is not classified as a mental disorder. Yeah, I think we'd call it more of an acute stress reaction. Sometimes my head, an anonymous attendee says, sometimes my head just feels so full with limited concentration on work. Is it a mental disorder? I think that is a sign that you need to reach out for help and evaluation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Such a vibrant.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Maureen.
Please read what Maureen wrote.
Such a vibrant webinar and insightful content.
Mhm.
Thank you. You'll get the presentation on your email.
Thank you. Joanna Fulu, thank you for making the presentation light. Anonymous attendee says, I was last on antidepressants and therapy in 2020. The points listed here seems to be an issue with me. I fear cost of seeking therapy. How can you advise? Doreen? I'd like to say that there's a organization called Camille Foundation, which provides free, and there's an organization called Camille Foundation, which I believe provides free psychiatry and counseling services to people who need them. So
Wow.
Google Camille Foundation, Kamili Foundation. Yeah, and there are also, just Google for free counseling and mental health services in Kenya. You should be able to find that. If you're a teenager, aged between, I think, 14 and 26, you can come to the 13 to 26. You can
13
come
to 24.
to 24.
Yes.
You can come to the youth center, Kenyatta National Hospital, and what will happen to you there? They'll charge you megabucks.
You're only it's free consultation, but
Yes.
you have to pay for your medication if you're put on medication. But it's a free consultation.
So Youth Center, Kenyatta
Yes.
National Hospital,
Yes.
sees people aged 13 to 24
Yes.
for free in
For
terms of psychotherapy
Yes.
and being seen by a psychiatrist or a psychologist.
Yes.
And the services run from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And maybe it's another thing to say about that is please keep on your the visits that you are given. Because
Yes,
I can
yes.
see 2020.
Yes.
And then we are 2024 because she's talking about, I can see all the points listed here seem to be still an issue with me. So do your follow-ups in terms of if you're given clinics, please accept.
Yeah. And also the healthcare providers who see you are human beings. If you find that, let's say you're being given up, your appointments are too frequent and you're not able to make it, you can ask for longer time in between your appointments. And now we need to really close. Maybe let's look at one or two.
What can you do, Doc?
What can you do when you have continuous psychotherapy sessions with your patient and they do not seem to get better? I think it would be good to have a second opinion.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, you can always, if you're not moving,
Yes.
you don't have to keep pushing.
Yes.
What you can do, you can be able to refer
Yes.
someone else to take it up. I think that's true. It's in order.
Pauline! Pauline Manji, wow.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for my colleagues. Hey, thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Pauline. It was awesome work with you. You're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you, thank
people.
You, thank you. I think, Doc, we need now to bring this to a close.
Yes.
And thank you for having a lunch date with us. And I hope that you've been quite enlightened with this presentation that took place today. And look out for more presentation in the future. And for now, what do I have to say, Dr. Rin?
It's okay not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay, but speak up.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And good mental health starts with you and I.
me.
Yes.
Yes, it is our responsibility.
Have a wonderful weekend. Till next time. From Dr. Violet Okech and Doreen Bai.
It's bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And remember, where are you, the Snoopy? Which one? Are you anticipating? Where are you at? Bye-bye for now.
See you people. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye-bye.